This is Vic Patel with Craft Express.
My name is Ashley from Artistry.
It's Gavin, founder, creator of Seps.io, and you're listening to
Two Regular Guys podcast,
Hosted by
Terry Combs RG, Regular Guy,
and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
The best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorators.
Prepare for the wild.
All right, welcome into the show. It is Friday, May 9th, 2025. I'm Terry Combs. You can find me at terrycombs.com.
All right. Sorry, guys. I've got a little delay over on this side. We're live from DAX Nashville here. The doors just opened. So hopefully you guys, there we go. I think I'm getting caught up here. But my name is Aaron Montgomery from our Success Group and also with American Print and Supply. And this week we are joined by Zach Dewhurst of DecoNetwork to explore how contract decorating and print-on-demand outsourcing can help apparel decorators scale faster, reduce overhead, and focus on what they do best.
Awesome. All right, make sure you stay till the very end. I'm going to be bringing the secret sauce today. It's going to be Screen Print Startup. What tools will your supplier forget to tell you about? And Aaron, I want to also point out that we are going to be co-sponsoring with Branded Merch Network, ASI Apparel List, and hosted by the Two Regular Guys, an event here on June 10th, which is Why It Matters Live Sustainable Merch Summit. And going to have several folks in panel discussions, and actually Jay Basel's going to, with Branded Merch Network, is going to join us next week as our guest to really go into details about who's going to be on all these different panels. It's going to be a really cool event. I think that we have up on the screen the registration. It's free, but you do need to register, and it will be June 10th, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon, center of the universe time, according to Aaron. 10 o'clock out here Pacific time. So anyway, make sure you get signed up and tune in next week, and Jay's going to give us the lowdown on the entire event.
All right. Well, hopefully I'm not behind anymore, but Terry, because we like to do cutting edge stuff here, right? I am live from DAX Nashville, and then we also have Dan Barefoot joining us live from Berlin, Germany. So we are really pushing the limits here today. And so if you're ready, Terry, let's do the news.
Let's do it. World Imaging News at FESPA.
Good morning, and I'm really happy to be with you all today. I'm Dan Barefoot, reporting from beautiful Berlin, Germany. Well, technically, I'm at Brandenburg Airport, as you can hear, waiting for my flight out after an incredible week at FESPA Global Print Expo 2025. The show's been buzzing with energy since Tuesday, and today marked the final day of what's been truly an inspiring and action-packed event. At World Imaging News, we're focused on the trends shaping the global graphics industry, and at FESPA 2025, a few stood out. Automation, real progress in sustainability, and AI becoming part of every stage of the workflow. But alongside the tech buzz was a growing concern, the lack of skilled workers to operate these advanced systems. Combine that with rising tariff pressures, and it's clear the industry is innovating fast, but facing real challenges along the way. So in today's episode, I'm diving into some of the key trends that emerged from FESPA 2025 and what they could mean to the future of digital imaging. As many know who follow us, we are normally very product-oriented, but today I felt that the trends that we could see in Europe are really something that we'll see in the United States as well. In the past sessions, we've touched on how tariffs are creating some serious disruptions for U.S. and our global trading partners. So I'll not go into the topics today, but let's be clear. tariffs are a major concern in Europe. In fact, they were such a major concern with our Chinese partners that something is so important to them. It needs to be solved. I want to focus on three other major themes that came through loud and clear. The growing shortage of skilled workers in the graphics industry, the expanding role of artificial intelligence in both design and production, and Europe's strong leadership in driving sustainable print practices. In fact, it's great to hear that two regular guys will be hosting a sustainable session in June. So let's unpack what's happening and why it matters. Number one is the skills gap in the graphics industry. A recurring concern at FESPA 2025 was the shortage of skilled workers in the graphics field. As equipment and work become far more advanced, the talent pool just isn't keeping pace. Many in the industry worry that without proper training and education, even the best technology won't reach its full potential. Number two, artificial intelligence in design and production and business processes was everywhere. Um, it was everywhere from automating file prep and print workflows to enhancing design and maintenance and going into the business side of the business as well. These tools aren't replacing workers, they're streamlining repetitive tasks and helping print shops become smarter. The shift is happening quickly, and it's clear AI will be central to future production. The third part is Europe's push towards sustainability. Sustainability was front and center, especially among European exhibitors, from eco-friendly inks to recyclable materials and energy-saving equipment. Innovation is now competitive as a competitive standard. Europe is setting the pace, and the rest of the industry is being pushed to catch up. And of course, two regular guys are also pushing to catch up. These major themes are reshaping how we think about print, from the people behind it to the technology that drives it. In our next session, I'll highlight some of the most exciting new products we discovered at FESPA 2025. There were a number of printers that haven't been announced yet. There was some new ink that's incredible, new DTF products that we'll report on in our next segment. To stay up to date on the latest news and trends in digital imaging, please go over to worldimagingnews.com, and because MJ is not here, worldimagingnewslatino.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter, Win Quick News. And that's the Win News, folks. I'm Dan Barefoot, and until next time, stay healthy and keep on smiling.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan, for being there and delivering. I think it actually worked out pretty good. Man, we're almost getting good at this.
You know, I went to, gosh, this was years ago, Aaron. I don't think you went, but when at US Screen, we did FESPA in Berlin, and man, what a great city. And if anybody is afraid to travel to Europe because you don't speak this language or that language, everybody in Berlin speaks English. So it's a great place to go.
That's true. That's true. What a wonderful time we had over there for sure. So, all right, Terry,
so you were in Berlin. Yes.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's where you got called out.
I was there with you a couple times, actually.
Yeah, that's when you got called out for drinking a light. What kind of beer was it? I can't remember.
Oh my gosh. Well, yes, we were drinking. I was drinking Munich beer in Munich, where everybody else was drinking Corona. That happened, and then I had a Bud Light, I think, and I definitely got called out for that. All right. Let's say hello to everybody that's tuned in here. We've got Doug Sobel checking in this morning, and Ramona here from Quick to Stitch. Good morning to you. Ramona says you all be international. Sorry, it took me a second to catch up on reading that. And then I've got my friend Brian tuning in from Duluth, Minnesota. He's got some really cool fish shirts that he's got. So Brian, feel free to share your website there in the chat if you don't mind when you get a second. So if you're somebody that is a fishing person, you want to check this out for sure. They're super cool. In fact, I think we maybe even showed one last week in our session that we had about the print on demand stuff, the cut and sew product. So, yeah. All right. Well, Terry, we also have a dad joke that the way I'm feeling today, it's actually very, very timely. So,
Is it hitting close to home?
yes, for sure. So go ahead whenever you're ready, Eric.
So, Aaron, do you know how to tell if you're getting older?
How do you tell, Terry? I don't know.
When you have upstairs Tylenol and downstairs Tylenol. It does
I
hit close
have
to home.
I have Tylenol in my car, Tylenol in my show bag, and then Tylenol in my suitcase.
There you go.
I
All
love
right.
it. That's a good one.
Before we dive in, we want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We need your voices. We would love to have the regulators participate in our show intros. Go to osg.link/intro, read a few sentences, and be a part of every show. So don't be left out. We are always looking for new guests. So if you or anyone you know would like to go join us on the show, go to calendly.com/2, the number two, regular guys to book a future episode, or email us at info@tworegularguys.com. If you are listening to the podcast version of the show, which most of our listeners are, we would appreciate you sharing the Two Regular Guys podcast with all of your industry friends so they can become regulators too. We would appreciate you giving us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, wherever you do your podcast listening, we are there. If you're watching us live right now, please join in with comments and questions, and let's get rolling, Aaron.
Okay, well, let's do it. Yeah. So if we can, let's go ahead and get Zach in here, and let's see how badly I butchered his last name, first and foremost.
No, you hit it. You hit it.
Yes. All right. That's like a big deal for me, Zach. So
Oh.
good day.
I mean, when I'm at one of the trade shows making a video, I will try first, last name, and it'll take like 3 takes, and then Colin, the videographer, will look at me. Just don't do it. Just use the first name because I butchered it most of the time. And when we keep it in there, I always still apologize because, it is.
You're just like me. I love it.
Well, what's really funny is when they don't tell you, and like you're on like the 8th video or 3rd show, and they're like, by the way, it's this. I was making a video with Cobra Flex, and I kept one of their founders, Chris Brazil, and it looks like Brazil. And I mean, it had to have been like 6 videos of me introing it that way, and then he finally told me, he's like, by the way, it's Brazil. I was like, okay, you just had to tell me. But that's the industry in a nutshell. We're all so nice and whatnot that we let each other butcher our own last names.
Yeah.
Something's been eating at me for some time, Zach. All right. Well, so Zach, rather than reading those canned bios that we used to do, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found your way into this industry.
Okay, it's a long story.
Okay. We have time.
I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. After I graduated high school, I went to the Ohio State University. I was just kind of born to be a Buckeye. And before I even got to campus, my dad had a relationship with somebody. It was essentially somebody knew somebody who knew somebody. And I had a job lined up going into college. And that was to work at a t-shirt retail store, a essentially spirit wear store. Ohio State, lots of spirit. It has the number 1 fan base of like all sports. So a lot of people on campus, 60,000 students, 120 or 105,000 seat stadium. We got slammed on game days. We sold a lot of merch. And one thing they allowed us to do was buy the shirts at cost. We didn't print anything there. Their sister company printed them, and then they would get shipped to us, and we just put them on the rack or fold them and so forth. And that's when I started to like figure out, wait. A shirt cost us $1.80. That was back then, 16 or so years ago, before cotton just kept going up and so forth. But it really, growing up, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I was part of a high school marketing organization called DECA, DECA, and it's all about teaching marketing and entrepreneurship. And the number one thing you do is you sell branded merch. You have a school store, and the idea is to learn and earn. You are learning how to, run a business, and then you are, while you're earning, so you can go to an event, something like where you're at, Aaron, where my business would go there, vend, and we have a bunch of students who are typically competing in some type of entrepreneurial or marketing role play. So I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had a lot of friends who their parents owned a landscaping business or a restaurant. So I wanted to start a business. So my freshman year, I worked at that t-shirt shop, started learning a little bit about the industry from a retail standpoint. I also had a friend who owned a business, and that he started a different business and got out of the promo world. He had a business called RPM. He was a racing guy, and RPM stood for Rapid Promotional Marketing. And lack of a better term, he was a promo product distributor. He never touched a product. All he did was facilitate and solved problems. Every order is almost, I like to look at it as a problem that we're trying to solve for the customer. What is it that you need? Oh, okay. Well, I have a solution. At Deco, we could say we have a lot of features. I like to look at it as we have a lot of solutions. Um, so he had RPM, and then he started a business called Go Geese Go, which is literally $10,000 border collies just chasing geese off golf courses, corporate complexes, and so forth. So he decided, you know what, I'm done being a distributor. Back then, it was a bit harder. We had kind of Sage ASI, but we didn't have the connections and ability to pass that order from here to there like we can today. We didn't just have the technology. So he decided to get out of it. But the big thing he told me was, if you want to get in this industry, don't touch a product. And I'm 19, 20 years old at the time, and I went the complete opposite direction. Let's start buying equipment and figuring it out. And it just took me down this rabbit hole that I try to talk some people out of today. And that is, you don't want to be a master decorator. You want to be a successful shop owner. Claiming that I printed X amount of shirts or that we did it in house ourselves is not as important as how much did we make at the end of the year. The only thing that matters in sports are wins and losses. You have all these other statistics. The only thing that matters is who won the game. Same with business. I don't care what your revenue is. I don't care how many impressions you did each year. It's about how much money did you make. And I fell down the rabbit hole of trying to become a master decorator and working in my business and not on my business. And I also um, wanted to kind of hide behind a computer for a while. I found this software, DecoNetwork, year two of starting my business. So 15 years ago, I'm on Sanmar's site. I'm watching the Buckeyes play a football game, and I can remember it plain as day. I'm just on their like resources, and oh wait, there's this shop management software, and I was majoring, right? I majored in marketing, and affiliate marketing was really starting to take off and be a big thing. And Deco had affiliate web stores. So back 15 years ago, I could be launching stores, an unlimited amount of stores for like $150 at the time. And I fell in love with this software. But it was another thing that kind of distracted me from selling, building a client base, and so forth. I wanted to get into POD. So what did I buy? I brought a Brother 782 DTG printer. I bought a $60,000 printer when I was 20 years old, and then 3 months later came out the Graffiti or GT3, whatever they called it at the time, and it was 20K. So it was just like, that's the start of, man, you bought it, and then, oh my gosh, if I waited 3 months, it would have been a lot easier. And if you compare that to DTF, what you can get for 25K, it's like, oh my gosh. Um, so it seemed like throughout my entire, you know, entrepreneurial life, I always seem to pull the trigger too early, and I've always been one to ready, fire, aim. The bullet's already left the gun, but we're hoping that it'll bend and hit the target. So I'm 20 years old, and before I bought that DTG, I first bought a heat press and a vinyl cutter. I think that's how most of us started 15 years ago. It's how most of us started before DTF came about. A lot of us. We could cut some vinyl, we can satisfy simple designs. We do have to vectorize them, but we can do some stuff in house on a $2,500 budget, getting started at most. So I bought a cheap China press, regretted that. Finally, I bought the Fusion like 6 months after it was released. I still have that press, Hotronics, that Fusion. Now I have Air Fusions, but the manual best-selling press really in the world, I believe they state. Um, and started outsourcing screen print transfers. Um, when I was a part of the DECA community in high school, when we had a school store, all we did was we placed an order with a vendor, somebody, a t-shirt printing shop. They gave us the shirts, we put them on the shelf. That didn't teach us much. Just like when I worked at the t-shirt shop, all I knew how to do was take a box, open it up, put something on the shelf, and take a transaction. That's not running a business. That's being a retail employee. Um, so I really wanted to take things up a notch with marketing organizations, so that the students could get a more enhanced learn and earn experience. So the thought was, and this is what I primarily do, is we sell heat presses to DECA chapters or FBLA, any type of marketing or entrepreneurial um, high school organization that wants to learn and earn. And we sell them that heat press. We provide grommeted samples from Sanmar. Hey, you're getting in the industry. I want you to know what an ST350 is versus a Gildan 5000 versus a BC 3001 CVC. So we educate them on how to get started. And the 80/20 rule is real throughout all of life. I mean, it really is. So 80% of our sales come from 20% of the schools we sign up. It's probably more like 90/10, but that 10% kill it. And when they run with it, all of a sudden they have 4 heat presses. They're not just printing for their school store, they're printing for other organizations in the community. They're doing all that spirit wear. They're outsourcing embroidery to us. They are becoming a not just a school store, but a school shop. And it's really gratifying when you see it. And then some of them, the students graduate to becoming their own entrepreneur. Because I was one of these students. I wanted to do this. And they then can, we're not hiding any secrets. You can buy the same press that your school has. And a lot of students, they already have relationships. So what made me pull the trigger to get started with my business is my best friend growing up, his dad owned a restaurant. It was a hole in the wall, or it is a hole in the wall bar. It doesn't seat maybe 60 people at a time, maybe. On the Travel Channel and the Food Network all the time. And when an episode of the Travel Channel or Food Network, so Travel Channel gave it the 35th tastiest place to eat in the country, no matter what type of restaurant it was. And it really is that good. But that means on a good day, it's a 2 hour wait every evening, which is crazy to me. I would never wait 2 hours for food. But if you're going to wait 2 hours for food, there's a good chance you're going to buy a t-shirt. And they just never approached it from a marketing standpoint of, okay, we should they'd have a t-shirt kind of behind the bar, they'd storm in the back, and they really weren't trying. So I had a relationship. I grew up with him and I knew his dad for a long time. So it wasn't hard to they gave me a chance. And marketing to me was always kind of common sense. I don't think marketing is that difficult compared to like finance or accounting is just, oh, I don't know how you do it. But I've always loved marketing, and it's just, we should sell more of these. And the restaurant is really well known for ridiculously big size burgers. I mean, it's a 3/4 pound burger, and it's crazy. But restaurants don't make much money off of food. They make the money off of the drinks. And if somebody bought a burger for $10 versus they bought a t-shirt for 14, they made way more money off the t-shirt. And what they did was the customer paid to market them as a walking billboard. I mean, it's crazy um, that customers will pay to market you. And I would wear the shirt, obviously, because I print them and I wear them around town, and people would stop me all the time. Oh my gosh, Thurman, I really got to go there. And it just, even if the customer doesn't wear it and they have it in their closet and they open up the closet every day, it's an impression. Just like if you do a branded mug and it's in the cupboard. I don't care if they're always using it, but they're looking at it. And that's what matters. And I fell in love. Again, I'm a marketing guy. I loved how you could have promo products. I loved how the industry allowed us to go a lot of different directions. You can go contract, you can go retail, you can focus on B2B, B2C, schools, jerseys. There's all different types of niches and revenue routes in our industry. Well, that just distracted the heck out of me in my 20s. Let's do this, let's do that. And all of a sudden, I'm just going in 100 directions at once. And I just never had kind of that business owner partner to slap me across the face. Stop doing this. It goes back to, doesn't matter how many decoration processes we do in house. What matters is how much revenue are we bringing in. That's what matters. And I constantly was working on my business or in my business instead of on. And so at the beginning, HTV heat press and plastisol transfers. I should have stopped at outsourcing plastisol transfers. Let's just keep heat pressing, and
Yep.
anything else, let's outsource. If I had to start over again, I would stop at that phase, especially at that time. Because what I ended up doing was I ended up buying again that $60,000 DTG machine,
Yeah.
20 years old. I couldn't even legally drink, and I put myself in some nice debt right from the
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
But you wanted to at that point, right?
Well, every
Legally
failure
drink.
led to an opportunity. That's what I will say.
Yeah.
Every time I failed, it ended up leading to a different opportunity, and I love where I am today. But I visit a lot of shops. I talk with a lot of shops. I have a lot of
Yeah.
relationships, and there's a lot of them that are my age and significantly more successful at running a successful shop. And I have no problem owning it. I really enjoy helping shops. So what
Yeah.
I went down the rabbit hole of buying all this equipment, and I still in house right now. We pushed baby to the corner is what I call
Yeah.
it. Screen printing got pushed to the corner in the last few months. It
Yeah.
just I didn't I am in a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. Absolutely love Columbus, but something happened, and that is Intel 3 miles down my street. I mean, literally on my street, is building a $22 billion facility. Billion. So
Yeah.
when you think, oh, we're going to build a football stadium, take 22 of those or more. And that's what they're building. And it has
Yeah.
flipped everything upside down near me. And I can't, it's not like real estate is all on edge and where things. So I had to make a decision. Because I already went down the rabbit hole, and it's not easy to just, I'm going to sell everything. I hate that
Yeah.
idea, especially when you have knowledge and so forth. So the decision was, do we relocate? And I'm on my um, residential property. So I have a 2,500 square foot pole building, 100 yards behind my house. My commute is 10 seconds. I can see my daughters playing on the playground I built while I work. I love that, but there's also cons to it. Absolutely. There's definitely cons from working from home, especially if you're doing production. Um, So it was we either have to relocate, which means we're going to go probably rent. And again, Intel is screwing everything up there. We either need to shrink, so we need to get rid of trim the fat, go a little leaner in some areas. And then three, we could expand and I could build another building. And I really wanted to do that at one point. I still maybe do, but what I really needed to do was rip the band-aid off, except that screen printing makes more sense for me to outsource at this point. I'm all about redundancy. If I'm going to do something in-house, I want a couple of them. So, Aaron, I needed a second DTF printer. One of my favorite people in the industry, or people, is Jay Wilson. I met Jay several years ago, the
Yep.
right-hand tech at American Print and Supply. Jay has always been a great friend, even before DTF was over here. I know a lot of people want Jay on their team. And the leader of American Print and Supply, Rob Super. Love Rob. I'm real excited to go visit his facility again. Rob is an incredibly smart guy, and he was doing full color transfers before DTF was here. He is a cut and sew all over sublimation expert, which is about as close as it gets to DTF. If you want to, know what it's going to take to put out a good product. And with having Jay and somebody like Aaron all on the team, highly recommend anybody looking at DTF, American Print Supply. And if anybody ever needs to outsource all over sublimation or cut and sew, I mean, that's not easy to find cut and sew in the States,
Yeah.
but American Print on Demand, which goes back to, again, outsourcing. Who the heck wants to do cut and sew themselves? Nobody does it. Nobody does it. You outsource it. And so why look at screen printing or embroidery the same way? Why is it that we think these bread and butters, decoration process, I've got to do the big three. I have to do screen, embroidery, or a digital process. I want to do those in-house. Do what you enjoy, do what you're good at and your skill set can handle, and outsource the rest. Or at minimum, outsource it until you have the demand to bring it in-house. I'm the idiot who oh man, I want to claim I can do engraving. I haven't gotten an engraving order in a couple months, but you know what? We're going to bring it in and that'll create a demand. But I'm trying to solve problems. I should buy it when I have the need. There are wants and there are needs in life. I didn't need it at the time. I wanted it. And then I'm like, oh, I'll find the need. But that's not a good way of going about it. And again, when you get in a habit, habits are hard to break. And that's what I've done a lot of. So today we pushed screen print in the last 6 months. I wanted redundancy. I got another American Print and Supply printer. So we have a couple DTF 24-inch printers, several heat presses, obviously. The embroidery.
So,
go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
I was just this is awesome. You've given us all this. This was in introducing yourself, and you gave us all this wonderful information about outsourcing. So, if we can, I want to shift into getting into some things that we're hearing from people as we talk about this. Like when you talk to people about outsourcing, what are the common concerns or excuse me, those types of things, and when somebody just says, oh, well, I need to have control, I need to have it all in-house, whatever, right? How do you explain that to them?
Well, there's different size contract shops. So right down the road from me, there is a contract decorator with 10 autos, 450 embroidery heads. It's hard to fathom 450 embroidery heads. But just like Ohio State treated me, I'm a little bit of a number. I'm a little bit of a number to them. So one thing I'd like to advise is try to find that local contract decorator. In our industry, we don't look at the competition as pure enemies. I do want business, but there's a lot of shops that help one another. One does screen, one does embroidery, and they pass orders to the other, and they don't pursue each other's clients. It's not always easy to find that contract decorator, but they are out there. There's also your medium size. When I say 450 embroidery heads, I mean, that's an outlier. But one, ask other decoration shops. Aaron, you're at the expo. What I think a lot of attendees at expos forget is to network. Vendors and sales reps, they're all going to say, I've got the best. You should buy from me. You should do this. You should always join communities. Join podcasts like this one and get outside opinions. I do a lot of consulting and I like pushback. I like that opinion that then sometimes makes me rethink some of the things I advise and twist on it. But have an open mind, but talk with other decorators. If you really are lost, start looking at an ASI or a Sage, because you're going to have a list of contract decorators there. Sanmar and S&S both have their own contract decorator list, and they vet them. If they're getting bad, negative feedback, hey, this PSST decorator, I don't care that they're big. They're not keeping their word. They're not delivering. Sanmar is going to take them off the recommended list. So look at your vendors, have confidence, and don't think that just because you do a decoration process in-house means that every order that comes in for it is in your wheelhouse. We have 4 single heads. We specialize in 24 or less jobs. I don't want to tie up my machines. Right now I'm quoting a 2,000 piece embroidery order. There's no way I'm going to do that. No way. So we're going to outsource that job, obviously, but we still do embroidery in-house. So I can do, So one, have confidence. DecoNetwork is a network. So I can create a quote in Deco, do all of my sales stuff. And when it comes time to fulfill the order, there's an outsourced production feature where I can push it. And Deco has a list of decorators there of, hey, these people you can outsource to. If anybody is wondering, like, you can, at Deco, we have, again, a network. I could tell you if you're in the South, the Midwest, West Coast, tell you exactly who I would outsource to, because I've visited a lot of these shops too, and the owners are awesome. I love our industry and how genuine you are, but you want to, just the biggest thing is avoid somebody who treats you like a number. It should be a relationship. I even like the shops, the contract decorators who vet their customers, because it's just building rapport both ways and making sure it's a good fit, setting expectations, because it's got to be a mutually beneficial relationship. But outsourcing all day long, I don't care if it's contract screen embroidery or it's POD or it's outsourcing DTF transfers, heat pressing them yourself. The barriers of entry every year just keep going down, 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 which makes it more competitive. But it really comes down to selling and marketing. And the biggest mistake you can make is you get distracted because you're decorating or you're trying to find that next piece of equipment and then hire that additional person. Remember, it doesn't just equipment. Your overhead goes up the more you do things in-house. The more hiring, the more problem solving. If you have a team that really focuses on selling and you have relationships built to fulfill your orders, most of the time you're going to be more successful than the average person who decides, I'm going to do it myself. You definitely can be very successful that route. It's a lot harder. And today's technology and resources and everything, I'm asked all the time, if I could start today, what would I do? I'd outsource everything, maybe bring a heat press in-house. Actually, it's easy. I have 16-year-olds doing it all day long in high school.
Hey, Zach, let me interrupt you here now. We need to have a commercial break and hear from our sponsor, promohunt.com.
If you sell decorated apparel, then you're constantly on supplier websites like Sanmar, Alpha Broder, and S&S Activewear, comparing prices and checking inventory. Stop wasting time comparing prices the hard way. Just install PromoHunt's free browser extension. Then, when you're on a supplier website, PromoHunt will automatically compare your prices with all your suppliers and will let you know if you can save. With PromoHunt, you'll always be just one click away from seeing all your prices and inventory in one screen. PromoHunt shows other helpful information too, like similar product ideas, supplier phone numbers, preferred pricing, and coupons on thousands of supplier websites. PromoHunt saves you time and money, helping you quickly find and buy great products at competitive prices. The best part is that PromoHunt is completely free. Join 7,000 decorators and distributors that use PromoHunt every day to save time and money. Visit promohunt.com and sign up in less than 60 seconds.
Awesome.
Hey guys, I met with Tony Wavering, who is the founder of PromoHunt, just a couple
Yep.
days ago. Guys, I highly suggest anybody out there definitely look at PromoHunt. One, it's free. Why not? But it's
Yeah.
a great tool, whether you're doing soft goods or hard goods. I really like the product comparison. If I'm on Sanmar's site, I can see companions, but they can tell me comparisons. So if I'm looking for a product, and my customer needs it in a certain size and this isn't available up to that size, those comparisons and other things, it's a great tool. Definitely look at Promo Hunt. Yeah, it's really handy.
Love it.
As Tony's mother says, why is it free?
Yeah, we had a chance to interview Tony not too long ago, and it was funny when he told that story about his mom questioning him and his business practices. So, all right, let's get a couple of regulators' comments here, Terry, and then we get back. Yeah. This is, in fact, Brian from Gizmo Plan said Zach is awesome, great story, agreed. Craig from Collegiate Press Wide Format says, great info. I'll need to rethink my wants for equipment versus what I have demand for. Yeah, that's huge. And Greg Kitson says, best tools for the job. Example with 2,000 units embroidery order is pure gold. I love that.
Glad to see you here, Greg.
Yeah, great to see you, Greg. And then Vicky says, I tried to outsource for embroidery. She wanted to upcharge me because it was a business logo, so I ended up buying my own embroidery machine. Okay, interesting. Awesome. All right, Terry. Well you want to get...
Yeah, Zach, one question that always comes up with people is how to price the product. So how should decorators price contract or print on demand products and still be profitable? So, if you do it yourself, it doesn't cost you as much theoretically, but what about pricing?
Yes. So I'm all the time, at DecoNetwork, what I've done for the last handful of years, I've done a lot of consulting. If you sign up for the software, I have a lot of experience in the industry and 15 plus years using the software. So I talk with hundreds of shops a year. And it's amazing how many shops don't have pricing totally figured out, especially if they outsource. It is very common. So anybody out there like Vicky, if you wonder what should I be paying for contract work, again, I try to go local because shipping can get expensive if you have to have it shipped across the country or a couple states over to you. But a company that I really have a ton of respect for, I just absolutely love the owner, Aaron. I don't know if you've met him, but you should, is Pete Bolsoni at Same Day Tees. Same Day Tees has a very impressive contract decoration facility, a fleet of autos, digital squeegee, embroidery, DTF, color reel embroidery. You have that full color. He's got it. What I love about Pete, though, is he's an open book. Let's think 1990s websites, early 2000s websites. You know what you would see on a screen printer's website? A price table. It would be clear as day. If I bought this many with this many colors, this is the price. I'm a big fan of transparency to our customers and also our contract clients. Obviously, the contract clients have to have all the information. And something we're seeing, a trend, is simplification of pricing. even by contract decorators. If you look at 10, 15 years ago, everybody had screen setup fees. They are way going down, even contract decorators. So setup charges are disappearing, just make things simpler. Underbases. If the majority of the time we're doing an underbase, we're just gonna just charge for it, make it simpler. So we're seeing pricing get simpler from also contract decorators. My suggestion is for you to keep it as simple for your customers as possible. I like the idea of showing a table that makes it obvious to them. Well, if I want a one color and 50 pieces, that's what it's going to roughly cost me. Pricing is simple, or at least you can make it. A plus B equals C. The customer only sees C, and that's all that matters. That's the total price. A, the blank with a product markup. So t-shirt cost us $5. How much are we going to increase that price and then say it costs to the customer? 10, 15 years ago, everybody did 100% markup for the most part. What I've seen a trend is that come down closer to 65% for a lot and then fall in a tiered. The reason being is we want our pricing to be fluid. If the customer wants, hundreds of pieces, I can't have 100% markup on a Carhartt jacket and still be competitive. I need that price to drop, or I need to not over mark up a blank. So we're seeing a trend of we mark up the blank a little bit less, but our hard work is in decorating, or it's finding that decorator. So one thing when it comes to pricing, one of my suggestions is, and don't think I know everything, but if you don't over mark up your blank, you can have more margin in the decoration, and it will flex between products and just the way you need it to be. A plus B equals C. Now back to the actual question. Same day teas. Same day does do local orders. They always have, but then they decided to add contract. And I asked Pete just a couple days ago because it was this exact example. Pete will let you see this is my contract pricing, this is my retail pricing. So literally, if you wonder how do I be competitive, well, just use Pete's retail pricing. This is how much Pete is marking up. Same Day Tees is a very successful company at contract and local. They are transparent. They want you to be successful. So if we provide you the tools, such as this is what I would charge, we know that customers will pay this. They can attest to it. And this will be your margin because it's just the cost versus the what you're actually charging, obviously. And you're typically looking at a 40 to 50% margin when you're outsourcing. So I got my biggest order ever. So recently we joined the Chamber of Commerce, guys. This is something that slapped myself across the face years ago. I always focused on POD and providing transfers to schools and just kind of didn't have the time or just wanted to hide behind the laptop and not network at events, join my Chamber of Commerce. So we did. And I had one of my employees, my general manager, just graduated college. And I told him, hey, we want to do more. We want to build a book of local business. And we joined the chamber, $175 a year. And there's this company called Illuminate USA. And they are the largest solar panel manufacturer in the US. They didn't exist 4 years ago, but then all of a sudden they build a 1.2 million square foot facility and hire 2,800 employees and pay them on average $28 a piece. And they want merch and they want to buy local. And if we don't join the Chamber of Commerce, we do not make that relationship. And if I'm too worried about decorating instead of selling and getting in front of people, we do not make that relationship. So their first order was $28,000.
Wow.
We made over 12K and did not touch a product. I was in Phoenix at the DTF Expo. I saw you there, Terry. I bought the shirts from Sanmar, had them drop shipped to Same Day Tees. They printed them. They did the sleeve print. I don't want anything to do with the sleeve print. I don't want to print 2,800 shirts even. But they did it all. They sorted them by department because that's what the customer needed. And they shipped it and got it done quickly because the customer kind of put us in a bind, which was really a good thing because we solved the problem and we just built that relationship up. And so it started with that t-shirt order. And then a week later, they're like, oh, by the way, these shirts are for an event. We wanted them early, but we also need signs. Can you do this last minute? And it's like, I don't have a UV flatbed printer. I don't have an eco solvent roll-to-roll printer, but Sinolite does. 4Over does. All of these wholesale trade partners, just like promo product. If you offer a promo product, nobody prints stress balls or pens in-house. You outsource it to somebody who has specialized equipment who does it. Why look at screen embroidery or DTF differently? Yes, it's not super, super specialized. It's easier to do. I know pad printing isn't that difficult. You just want a specific machine to do the specific job to be efficient. So they hit us up for the t-shirts and we outsourced them. But then they needed signs and then they needed stickers and business cards. So we went to Sinolite. Then we went to 4Over. Then they ordered journals. I just ordered those a couple days ago. Those are from Primeline. So almost everything they've ordered, we outsourced. We did some of it in-house that we could. They do not care. They still see it as our money is going to a local business. They are solving our problem. You know, when I outsourced to same day tees, they're not down my street, but I'm the one who made the bulk of the profit and we built the relationship with them. I'll conclude with this. 2 days ago, they asked, hey, we want to start figuring out our Christmas gifts. We need 2,000. We need a quote. We need a price for 2,000 The North Face jackets. Our budget is $125 a jacket. That's a $250,000 PO, $250,000 order max that we're looking at.
That's awesome.
I will not touch that product.
Right.
I would not have gotten that sale if we did not stop standing at presses and get in front of our customers. Now that fell into my lap and happened to happen this week. And yes, I'm excited, but really all the equipment I have behind me in the other room, you know, none of it really got me that job. None of it had anything to do with getting me that client and building that relationship. And that's the big takeaway I suggest to a lot of people looking to get in the industry. Learn the industry, build relationships, tap your existing relationships, and don't work in your business, work on your business. Because if I go to sell my business, the equipment is kind of the last thing they're looking at. That's not the asset that they want. It's that relationship of, wait, every year they spend, $200K on Christmas gifts. Oh yeah, that is valuable. Now, it doesn't mean that client's going to stick with somebody who buys my business, but that relationship is worth a lot more than just we need a master engraving now. We just bought some X-Tool engraving machines. Let's get good at this. No, sell, focus, build your business. That's the big.
If there's anything you take away from this, if there's just one thing you take away, that's it, right there. Hey, yeah. So Zach, we're coming to the end of our hour. Where can our listeners connect with you and learn more about the tools and resources with DecoNetwork?
So at deconetwork.com, here's what makes Deco special, guys. It's the all-in-one platform. And what I mean by that is it is, one, the oldest in our industry, as far as I know. Maybe Shopworks is a little older, but what makes Deco unique is it's front end, back end, and stores. So most of us, we want to generate leads, quotes that lead to order. So Deco has your frontward facing website. You've got your products. You have your design tool, quote tool, customer account profile. You have that front end solution that allows you to build your business and communicate with customers. But the bread and butter of the software is the order management. Most jobs start with a quote. Deco's got an awesome quote tool allows us to look at, again, all the suppliers, inventory, order the products directly through there, organize artwork that needs digitized, vectorized. It's your all-in-one order management system. And then third, you have stores. You want to provide retail stores, team stores, merch stores, pop-up, ordering portals, very popular. It allows you to build a network of sales channels. Everything flows into the order management system. So we like to call ourselves the all-in-one platform. Most of our competitors, they do stores or they do front end or they do back end. It's very rare that anybody can claim that they do everything that Deco does under one umbrella and was built from the ground up as one umbrella, not a couple things hacked together. Um, and I personally, I love the company. I mean, the last couple of years, they hired me to be their business development manager. Essentially, they pay me to go to the shows, be kind of their voice, their spokesperson. I genuinely love the company, love the software, love helping decoration shops get the most out of it and be successful. We're in a fun industry, and nothing's
Yes.
more gratifying. I know you guys have experienced this of somebody coming up and saying, "Hey, I learned something from you, and it really helped me
Yep.
avoid a big mistake like I made." I mean, I've made them,
Yep.
and it's a great industry. I love Deco. I would not have distracted myself from kind of stepping away from my own shop if I did not believe and love the software as much as I do. Visit deconetwork.com, do a demo. You could pretty much always sign up for free for a month. So typically, you're not going to be paying a license fee, and you can typically get away with no first month subscription. You can check out the software for 30 days, compare it to how you currently do things. I guarantee you, you will quote quicker, you will organize your production faster. Eric knows a lot about Deco, some of the tools in there. It's
Yep.
just very great, robust software. It's one of the oldest, and you're looking at $200 to $400 a month. What software should do is it should make you more efficient, should reduce your mistakes, and potentially open up new sales channels. And Deco will
Yeah.
do all three of those things for you for as little as $400 a month.
Yeah.
How much is your
Incredible.
labor worth? How many hours do I have to save a month, or how many sales do I have to make to justify that? Is a way to look at
Yeah.
wonderful.
Small. Cool. Zach, this has been awesome, man. What a great conversation. Thank you for bringing all this wonderful information to the table. I'm looking forward to, I'll see you up in Peoria. Actually, I'll
Yep.
meet you up there. Can't
Yep.
wait.
I am looking
Awesome.
forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks, Zach.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Zach. Have an awesome day, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Too.
Okay.
All right. We didn't
Terry.
have to work very hard today.
No, I know. We need to send Zach our paycheck, man. He took care of it and made sure we covered
I
everything.
didn't get a chance to tell him that I'm an Ohio University Bobcat. He's talking about Ohio State. So
Love it. Love it.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, I've got just one thing coming up that on my list anyway. My complete screen printing business course. I'm going to be in Chicago at Atlas Screen Supply June 7th and 8th, and then try to keep updated on my website, terrycombs.com.
All right. Awesome. For me, Terry, my next stop will be DAC Chicago, coming up pretty quick, actually. They have moved the venue this year out to Schaumburg, and it's going to be on May 30th is when it starts. And on that day, I'm going to be teaching Fast Track Your Success, Have the Time to Achieve Your Goals at 2 p.m. center of the universe time there, Terry. And so you can come learn the steps to go from a goal setter to a goal getter. And that's a passion topic of mine. I love talking about that. And then the next day, I will be sharing on May 31st at DAX by teaching how to master pricing for profit. And that session's at 12:30 p.m. And it's for anybody that's ready to turn pricing from a dreaded task into an empowering tool. And then out there in Chicago, I will also be in the American Print Supply booth, which is booth number 320. And like we're going to do here today, we're going to be teaching from the show floor as well. We're going to be sharing at the top of each hour, 7 smart ways to print more profit into your business. And so just stop by the booth for free education. Right after that, heading off to Graphics Pro Indianapolis on June 13th, and I'll be teaching Marketing Better in 2025. The session, I try to pack it full of practical tips to help you find clarity in your message, to be able to stand out in a noisy world and connect authentically with your ideal customers. So if you'll head over to Graphics Pro Expo, they got a lot of dashes in there. And you can use the code APAS25IN and I get 50% off the registration. Two other things I wanted to share, Terry. Got DTF transfer discounts for all of the regulators out there. So if anybody's looking for a transfer vendor, my new role has created an opportunity to share a discount with you guys to transferdepot.com. And it's a 10% discount if you use the code AMONTGO. That's my name, kind of, 2025 at checkout. They have a really fast shipping, great quality. In fact, you can also have expanded color gamut options. They've got UV transfers and 30-inch gang sheets coming soon as well. So if you need any help with any of that, just reach out to me. Let me know. I'm here for you. And then, as you guys can tell, we are live here at DAX Nashville. Front door's right there. So just come in, turn right. You'll see us, booth 121. And I'm excited for a great show here. This is our first time in Nashville. And outside of the Embroidery Mart, there has not been any Nashville shows that I'm aware of. Maybe back in the day, Impressions had some here.
Yeah, many years ago. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, for Eric, this afternoon, he's got the Take Up episode 224, AI art and embroidery, digitizers and design dilemmas. So in this episode, he'll discuss some concerns and questions about AI-oriented art directly from digitizers and embroiderers. So you can join him at 2:30 Mountain Time, 4:30 Eastern Time, and he's going to share techniques live. So if you'll check out ericcampbell.com and click the Take Up tab at the top of the show, and you'll be able to see more episodes there. So, all right, Terry. Well, into bonus time here. How about some secret sauce? I'm excited to hear from you here.
I am ready. All right, my secret sauce today is Screen Print Startup. What tools will your supplier forget to tell you about? So when you start a new business, no one wants to hear on day one, oh, we need to buy fill in the blank to do this order. And you say, what? It's literally our first order. So I'm not suggesting you buy everything possible just in case, but here are a few things you'll certainly need that possibly your supplier sales rep may not think to tell you. First one is a 10 by 12 youth platen. It's going to be the second most popular platen you're going to use, not only for youth garments, but for smaller ladies' tops too. If your niche is youth apparel, you might look at a 7 by 8 platen as well. Most decorators can get away with just one of these smaller platens, but if you're in that youth marketplace, you may consider buying a whole set of platens for either your 4, your 6, your 8 color press. Next is a sleeve platen. This might be your the second most used platen, and you're going to get requests for prints on long sleeves, but you can also do sweatpants and shorts as well. Flash adhesive might sound like a minor and odd addition, but many suppliers don't necessarily add it to your startup supply package. You'll use a low-tack adhesive to hold your garments in place when you're printing. But heat from a flash unit will cause that adhesive to lose its tackiness and allow the garment to move. So when you're flashing, use flash adhesive. Even under this adhesive, it's gonna hold that under heat. It's gonna hold that garment in place. Too many suppliers suggest you buy a few 110 mesh screens and a few 160 mesh screens. For best printing results, you're better off having 4 to 5 different mesh counts depending on your marketplace. For example, if you want to print puff ink, you'll need a few 86 mesh screens in your inventory. Having the right screen mesh for the job will give you fewer headaches rather than trying to make your limited screen inventory work. Most suppliers will suggest a handful of ink colors to get you started, but sooner rather than later, your customers are going to ask for specific PMS color matches. To do that, you'll need to buy an ink matching system that will allow you to mix small quantities of exact color matches. So get a starter package of ink mixing. Your supplier may not recommend buying a heat press, but get one. You'll use it all the time. You can print your own transfers or contract out screen print or DTF transfers. There's a time and place for direct printing and also for using transfers. If you do teams, you'll heat press vinyl numbers. If the NFL uses vinyl numbers and names, you should too. And buy a good quality heat press, not an Amazon special. A good quality heat press is going to cost you $1,400 and up, but it's going to pay for itself over time. So invest in a good quality heat press. Here's my last recommendation. Suppliers love to sell a pure photopolymer emulsion to make your screens. They love it because it's fast. I guess that's why they do it anyway, but it's also very unforgiving. So if you make the smallest mistake, you're going to have to reburn that screen. You don't need that headache while you're learning the craft. So instead, buy dual cure emulsion. You can't mess it up. Takes a little longer to expose, but I'll take foolproof over fast any day. And that's my secret sauce for today.
All right, Terry, great secret sauce. Thank you so much for all of that wonderful information there, and really good stuff here today. Terry, I think we've come to the close of another show here. I think we've, man, what a great, like Brian had mentioned, what a great story from Zach today, and so awesome talking to him, hearing his story and learning from him. I know he told us that he's normally on our side of the desk, so
Right.
That was nice that he gave us some space today and just was sharing all sorts of gold nuggets along the way. So thanks very much to Zach. Make sure you guys get over to deconetwork.com. Check that out. Reach out to Zach. He is super helpful. Like you said, he's part of what makes this industry so awesome. So appreciate his time today, Terry.
Absolutely. We also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell, and up to his knees in trying to get moved across country and still takes time out to push the button and turn the wheels for the two regular guys.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, thank you, Eric. All right, Terry. Well, next week we've got our good friend Jay Bassell with Branded Merch Network. He's going to be joining us to talk about that event that you mentioned at the top of the show, Why It Matters Live, Sustainable Merch Summit. So it's going to be an amazing event, and Jay's going to give us all the lowdown on it and why and where it came from and why it matters, right? That's the name of it. So that's also going to be a question that we'll ask him. Why does this matter?
Exactly right.
Looking forward to talking to him next week, Terry.
Yeah, definitely. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And that was the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Two Regular Guys. We're here because of listeners like you, and we're so grateful to have you on this journey with us. For more valuable insight, be sure to visit our website, 2regularguys.com, and join the conversation on our Facebook page. And hey, if you or someone you know has expertise, a unique perspective, or a story worth sharing, we'd love to have them as a guest on the show. Just reach out. Remember, success in this industry isn't just about the equipment you own or the techniques you've mastered. It's about the mindset you bring and the connections you build. Keep learning, stay curious, and don't be afraid to think differently. Keep pressing on, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Two Regular Guys.